Do you have a favorite failure? Something that went terribly wrong, but you learned out of it? Maybe you got even stronger.
Well, failure. Sometimes, we're just not aware of certain things. And of course, there are a lot of failures, but maybe two that come to my mind now. One was I was asked to work with a senior management team in Slovakia. And I had a conversation with the general manager. So we talked about what are the current issues, what is it that he wants to see differently, his goals, and so on. And then I prepared a design, and then I went to Slovakia, and then we started the session with him and the senior leadership team. And after, I think, the first 10 minutes, I could feel enormous resistance. And I thought, what's going on? And because, he this is what he told me. However, I realized that I only got his perspective and actually not the perspective of the rest of his team, which was totally different. And so what I realized is, so when you work with the senior management team or with any team, and if you have the possibility to talk to everyone before you actually do the design, it's much more fruitful. Because I got his impression, obviously he was not very much in touch or close with his people, and so there was a big mismatch between his expectation and the expectations and the needs of his immediate senior management team. So what happened was that I had nice agenda for 2 days, and I realized, so this is not going well. So I went to the flip chart. I kind of said, okay, this is not going to happen today. What is it you really want to work on? What is it that will help you? Because this is also something that's important to me. It has to make sense to the people I'm working with. It's not about me. It's not about my ego, and not about me showing them how smart I am. It's really about them, and it has to make sense. And that's important. The other thing where I really learned a lot, especially maybe as a woman, is that, as I said, I used to work at IBM. I was, I guess, 27, 8 when I started working there. And a male colleague started with me at the same time. And I think it was after years, so I realized, and we had conversations, I realized that he got a salary increase. And we had the same job. So I went to our boss, which was the same, and I asked him that I'd like to have also a salary increase, because I realized, my colleague got a salary increase. And he said, Erika, why should I give you a salary increase? And I said, well, that's not fair. He got a salary increase. We are doing exactly the same. How come? And he said to me, well, obviously you didn't sell yourself well enough at the beginning. And I went home in tears, like, I was really upset. And I think it was on a Friday, and I went home, and the whole weekend was destroyed. I was furious, actually. And I thought, this is not fair. And fairness is a big value for me. But I learned a lot, because then I think a year later I got an offer internally, and I had this fantastic European role, and I agreed with my European manager a certain amount of money. And then I came back, and he said, well, I can't pay that because the difference is too much. And I said, well, not my problem. You have to talk to the manager. And I finally got the salary increase. But it was painful, at the same time very helpful to also realize my own worth, and this is actually something I see very often, especially with women more than men, that it's hard for them to ask, for maybe a salary increase, or to ask for feedback, or to ask for support, or whatsoever. And especially in the job, for me, I think, it's like I have a job, I offer a certain product, and this has a certain price tag, it's like if I wash a washing machine, it's not about me personally, if they say, no, I don't give you that much money, excuse me, it's not about, my worth. I'm always worth the same, but it's obviously for them, this is too expensive, and that's also fine to accept, but we have to know our own worth.
Current favorite books?
I love buying books and reading books. It's not that I read all of it, but I quickly go through it, and then I see what's inspiring and useful. I read always a couple of books at the same time. One is, I have a dog. One is for...
Chaplin.
Yes, Chaplin. One is for how to actually lead and manage a dog, which is totally different to people.
Is it easier? Or?
No, I think it's much more difficult. but it's a fantastic experience, and you can transfer so much also to leadership and management in the human context. So that's one book, but as I said, I've started also working on this software project and an app. So I have a couple of books about design thinking, business canvas modeling, all kinds of creative strategies to turn ideas into concrete results or a product. So this is something that excites me. Frédéric Laloux is Reinventing Organizations. It's a book I have always next to me. But I think I like to read different books because inspiration is very important to me, to get inspiration from different fields, so not just from our kind of background.
Biosphere.
But more holistic approach. And I love also quotes. Very often I read quotes, and that's something that inspires me. And I think this is also something we can do for other people. Gerrit Hütte, the neuroscience, he said once, we can only invite, encourage, and empower people, but they have to do the rest. And this is, I think, what I want to do. I want to inspire, encourage, and empower. And I can only do that if I also inspire myself over and over again. Yeah, and I get inspiration. Yeah.
Invite, courage, empower. Beautiful. What's your biggest fear at the moment, and how do you dance with it?
Three things that come to my mind. First is a friend of mine, a close friend, recently got cancer. So that reminded me again how important life is and to live every moment. And it's the fear of dying, or even more the fear that I haven't lived enough. And so this is something that's on my mind. So what is it? What else is out there that I'm interested in? The things, we don't do sometimes because maybe the focus is too much on work or too much on family or whatsoever. So that's one. The other is the political situation around the world. I mean, you know that we've recently had a new government in Austria, and there is a shift in the political arena, let's say. So this is something I'm concerned about. So how easy it is for politicians to manipulate people, and whether we are smart enough to really wake up and to realize what's going on. So this is something that's on my mind. And also, what is the individual contribution? Where can I make a difference? Where can I act maybe differently to bring more consciousness and awareness to the surface? And the third, and that's interesting, it's sometimes I have the feeling there's not enough time left in general. So time is really flying, and we have to react quickly before something even more worth happens. So it's like an internal impatience, and I can't tell you where it comes from. It's maybe sensing what's going on locally, globally, and it's not for the better. However, knowing that we've never had better times than now, because it's with everything, there was never so much wealth and health on this earth, and never so few wars. So there is a lot positive, but still, where do we spend your energy and focus to? And the media, unfortunately, is still drawing our attention to those areas that are actually very negative, knowing that a lot of positive is happening. And this, I think, is also something I do in my job, is I try to bring my clients back to the good things also. So where's my attention going to? Are we resource-oriented or deficit-oriented? And of course, we have to know what's not going well and deal with it and find solutions. But I think we have to strengthen also the strength and unlock potentials that have not yet been touched or used.